U.S. intelligence agencies are still trying to stop the most sophisticated cybersecurity. Breach in American history, nearly a year after it began. Experts believe Russia was behind the hack of a company called SolarWinds, sending malware to 18,000 private and government organizations, including the U.S. Departments of Justice, Treasury, State, and Homeland Security. Russia has denied any involvement in the hack. Former hacker John Miller, now a cybersecurity expert, told 60 Minutes the scope of the attack was impressive.
I would never do something like this. It creates too much damage.
Miller says with the SolarWinds attack, Russia has demonstrated that none of the software we take for granted is truly safe, including the apps on our telephones, laptops, and tablets. These days, he says, any device can be sabotaged.
When you buy something from a tech company, a new phone or a laptop, you trust that that is secure when they give it to you. And what they've shown us in this attack is that is not the case. They have the ability to compromise those supply chains and manipulate whatever they want, whether it's financial data, source code, the functionality of these products. They can take control.
So, for instance, they could destroy all the computers on a network?
Oh, easily. The malware that they deployed off of SolarWinds, it didn't have the functionality in it to do that, but to do that is trivial.
Chris Krebs was director of the Department of Homeland Security's Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, also called CISA. Until last November, he is now a partner at Krebs Stamos Group, which was hired by SolarWinds to help investigate the hack. He joins us now. Good morning, Chris. Thank you for being with us. This attack has been going on for nearly a year. As we mentioned, it's still going on. What is your biggest concern about what Russia is doing?
Well, good morning, Anthony. Thanks for having me on. To John Miller's point, this was an attack on the very trust that enables the current digital ecosystem. And when you think about how businesses, how government agencies are building their networks, they're shifting to the cloud, to cloud computing, to services that are managed by third parties. And those relationships are rooted in trust. And the Russian intelligence service, the SVR, compromised that trust. And to me, that's what's so reckless and damaging about this specific campaign, was the brazen attack on trust. And we have to rebuild and regain that trust throughout our networks in the U.S. and elsewhere.
I mean, the words, John Miller's words there were really haunting. And I'm wondering about the implications of this for ordinary folks, because he's suggesting that anybody at home could be vulnerable here. How concerned should folks at home be about their own personal data in all this?
So I think this specific campaign by the Russian intelligence service was an exquisite operation, really focused on gathering intelligence from the government and from key businesses. I think your viewers have a different set of threats they need to be concerned about, and that is from cyber criminals that would seek to steal their financial information, get into their bank accounts and things like that. But this specific campaign is much more focused on gathering intelligence from the federal government.
It was a private company that discovered this hack. When it got to government agencies, why didn't CISA see it?
Yeah, so it was detected by one of the premier cybersecurity companies in the world that they has also been compromised. In terms of CISA's capabilities, the program last night discussed Einstein, and Einstein is really a fundamental security program for the federal government that is designed to detect known threats. This was not a known threat. This was a novel technique, a novel path, never seen before. And so Einstein was not configured for that. There are a separate set of technologies that are in the process of deployment right now by the federal government that will put us in a position to detect these sorts of attacks going forward. And what I understand the administration is doing, the White House National Security Council, led by the new Deputy National Security Advisor, Ann Neuberger, they are contemplating a wide-ranging executive order that will accelerate the security programs, the investment. Congress does need to ramp up investment in security efforts, but will really look to, as I mentioned earlier, regain trust, understand those third-party, those private sector companies that provide software and services, and make sure that we understand the risk that's involved with those programs and really lock down agency networks.
Yeah. And quickly, a former NSA deputy director told 60 Minutes the only way to end this attack is to get rid of all the affected networks and hardware. Is that what it's going to take? And how quickly can they do that?
So Chris Inglis is a friend. I know him well. I think that probably the more cost-effective approach is to assume that even prior to this campaign, that the Russians were already there and that the Russians will be there in the future. And so what you need to do is you hunt relentlessly across those agency networks. And that's what CISA has been empowered to do by Congress. Now Congress needs to follow up with the funding.
All right. Chris Krebs, thank you so much for being with us this morning. We appreciate it.